mindketten az MTK utánpótlásában pallérozódnak, és itt rögtön láthatunk.
Oh man, look at our boy, about to score his first ever goal.
Harmadik MTK találat is a mérkőzésen, Schenko kivédi.
I mean, I guess, like, look, he got in the way by accident. Our little 4-year-old boy has always dreamed of football. Someone would never get in the way on purpose.
De hát megpróbálkozik még egyszer a fiatalember, Schenko megint véd.
You make a wish. Yo guys, it is your boy Newman here, and you are watching FTW. This is of course the series where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. It's also the 200th episode of this series, which is absolutely mental. I want to say a massive thank you from the bottom of my heart for you guys supporting the show, supporting FTW from the very get-go. It means a lot, and honestly, hopefully, we can even get another 200 episodes out of this series too. What's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, in the UK, there's been more union strikes than a Europa League knockout game. Teachers, doctors and train staff are amongst those not going into work. If you need to get the tube to your medical lecture, it's a wrap, mate. Completely understandable, they need more pay, not more pay cuts, but just an inconvenience for most of us. How's Naby Keita gonna get his vital medical attention every day? Hey babe, do you know where the lube is? Oh my god, my knee. Now though, onto the football, and we start in the Champions League, where Liverpool seem to have an impossible task in the second leg against Real Madrid, needing to win 4-0 to recreate unbelievable comebacks and special Liverpool European night.
Skip. But when does this game get fucking good?
Yeah, look, we knew this was going to happen after the 5-2 loss at Anfield. You know how insupposably inefficient. Liverpool lost the second leg as well and are now out of the Champions League, completing our heaviest UCL knockout defeat and 6-2 overall.
Let's talk about 6, baby. Let's talk about you and me.
This one was a no-hoper from the start, lads. Mo was desperately out trying to distract Real Madrid players so he could settle the score. It's been 59 years and Mo still isn't settled. Honestly, without Alisson, this one would have been about 4-0. Vinicius Jr. had Trent on toast. He was struggling in 1v1s, it's fair to say, and was dribbled past 13 times across both legs. Here we have the view from behind Vinicius as Trent was chasing him down. Jurgen Klopp and Ancelotti were on brand at the end of this one. Teeth and eyebrows, frame it right now. Speaking of Klopp, and when Liverpool lost to Real in the Champions League final last season, he told Liverpool fans to book an Istanbul hotel in preparation for the 2023 final. A comeback in Istanbul. No, he meant come back from Istanbul. Reds fans are going to be trying to unbook their hotel at Premier in Turkey.
I'm getting serious now. I want my fucking money back. Is the money back? I want my money back now. I want my money back.
Curtis Jones is getting out of there away from Turkish police when he goes for a holiday and doesn't pay.
Laffy, listen to me, brother. We're gonna get the chopper on you, lad. Get the tunes on.
We might as well put the flight tickets to good use, you know. Get Fabinho some air. Next year's Conference League final, book the hotel, lad. Fabio Carvalho came on late here with 8 seconds to go. Just let him go home, Jurgen. James Milner and Harvey Elliott had a debrief after the match to see where it all went wrong.
I'm 56 years old.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
But honestly, this is just a write-off of a season. I know we've got that result against United, but at the end of the day, we've just got to try and rescue top 4 and call it a day. Elsewhere in the Champions League, and Man City cruised through to the quarterfinals with a 7-0 win over RB Leipzig, inspired by a record-equaling performance and 5 goals from Erling Haaland.
It's so disrespectful.
5 goals, Erling. That's insane. What kind of software update did this guy get? The guy's got unlimited texts and data now. Man City slapped a fresh SIM card in the guy. He scored more goals than he completed passes in the game, and he only got a 9.7. What does he have to do to get a 10? Pep's changed his mind on Sergio Aguero leaving, it's fair to say.
We can replace him.
Before the game, no one RB Leipzig posted on their Facebook saying that Manchester was red. Don't know how that one went for them.
Bit of a sticky one still.
Back in 2020, and they tweeted and joked asking who Erling Haaland was. Borussia Dortmund finally got their revenge 3 years later.
If you're not in Norway, you can say Erling Braut Haaland, and if you're in Norway, you can say Erling Braut Haaland.
Leipzig would know him very well by the end of this night. At least United could get some comfort seeing another team lose 7-0. The offensive thing here though, Pep Guardiola substituting Haaland before he could get his double hat-trick. He's protecting Lionel Messi's record, mate. He definitely got a text from the Argentine asking him to bring him off. Poor Leipzig's goalkeeper's been traumatized. His post-match interview was a little bit salty.
Average goal and a fluke goal and another average goal. A goal from a corner, allow another
an average goal.
Meanwhile, at the other end, an Edison got away with murder. He's recreated the Bundesliga logo here. Kyle Walker was gassed thinking he'd scored a 7 until realising it was his team that had scored 7. He got a little bit carried away with the celebrations. Oh, Kyle, yo, can we get a shirt from you? Oh, God. Meanwhile, Julian Alvarez asked Pep to start their next game. After Erling's form, he wasn't too happy with Pep's response.
And he's just literally told me to fuck off. I want this man to be no more.
Now, back in the Premier League. Oh my God, twice in an episode. Oh, how raucously repetitive. After the 7-0 battering of United, the Reds crashed down to earth with a 1-0 loss to bottom of the table Bournemouth. We've lost to a fucking beach, lads. I once beat United 7-0, then lost to Cherry Tang Fastics in the next game. Why can't we play United every week? Our trophy cabinet is shit, bro. Gary Neville was on the way to Sky Studios with a Coke Zero can. We're actually done again.
I just want to ring you up saying that Liverpool are 6th.
Alright, yeah, cool, that was Viz, ladies and gentlemen. Genuinely, this was the most predictable result as a Liverpool fan. But one thing we did do is show solidarity with Gary Lineker by not turning up either. There's one rule in football betting, proven again here, and how can I forget Mo Salah's penalty?
الكورة وين كورة صلاح لقيتها.
He might have to worry about settling the score with Bournemouth first, you know. Meanwhile, we got battered by a kid who couldn't iron his shirt when he signed. He was creasing at the result, am I right? Virgil van Dijk's highlights for the winner were disgraceful, and I still want to believe in us getting top 4, but our consistency is a shambles. At Tottenham, they grabbed a 3-1 win over Nottingham Forest, thanks to a brace from Harry Kane and a third from Heung-min Son. Early on in this one, and Richarlison thought he'd given Tottenham the lead and grabbed his first Premier League goal, only for it to be offside by the size of my pea. He celebrated by shushing his boss Antonio Conte, only for it to be disallowed.
I prefer to kill him.
I don't get this beef, man. Richarlison's gonna be baffled when he realises that being shit gets you on the bench. Meanwhile, Conte's gonna get revenge when he next sees Richarlison through on goal this weekend. The Tottenham boss actually said that Spurs getting in the top 4 is like a Premier League title for the club. Eric Dyer's not going to be too pleased when he finds out he doesn't actually get a medal for finishing 4th.
That I felt betrayed.
Chelsea got the better of Leicester at the King Power Stadium, with Ben Chilwell scoring a banger versus his former club. Chelsea tweeted asking fans to check their bio and had Enzo prop in there. Oi lads, I reckon you should check mine, not gonna lie. Mikhailo Mudryk got himself an assist and beat the 007 allegations, tweets that he actually knows about. Here we have the rest of the Chelsea squad when Mikhailo gets a goal contribution. For me though, yeah, if you're on your last chance of 007, it can't be an assist, fam. That's a cop-out. It doesn't count, I'm sorry. Leicester fans had a new chant for their former player Wesley Fofana. Hey, Wes Fofana! I wanna know why you're such a He was loving it on Twitter. Meanwhile, poor Datro Fofana was on the bench, baffled.
I'm like, what did he say fuck me for?
Not as impressive a week in the Premier League for United, though, after a disappointing 0-0 draw with Southampton. Casemiro was part of the problem with a straight red card after 35 minutes, meaning that in his last 10 Premier League games, he'll be suspended for 7, sent off in 2, and in the one he did finish, they lost 7-0. He actually just doesn't want to play with Anthony, bro. That's the reality.
It was all part of the master plan, wasn't it?
Apparently, he ordered a dossier on referee behaviour in England. This man did not read that folder once. He did no studying, mate. He said he forgot to check out on my maths, fam. He didn't do it. Here's Eric Ten Hag with a DM he'd rather have over Scott McTominay to replace the Brazilian. Meanwhile, there was a criminal dive here from Rashford. The Marcus effect in full flow. Manchester City may well be clear of United in the table, but Pep Guardiola is still envious of his Manchester rivals. As he said, actress Julia Roberts is one of his idols, and he was gutted that she was seen travelling to United instead of City. United then posted the pics of her again, and poor Pep's gonna be scarred anytime he sees her in a film. Elsewhere at United, and a fan spotted Wout Weghorst in McDonald's, Luke Shaw was slightly off camera but was there too.
I'll have 2 number 9s, number 9 large, 2 number 45.
Arsenal dispatched to Fulham comfortably with a 3-0 win. There was a hat-trick of assists for Leandro Trossard here. What a signing he's been. But more news off the pitch for the Gunners, and there's the revelation that Granit Xhaka gave his own family an ultimatum over staying in London. Here we have Mikel Arteta running after the Swiss midfielder to keep hold of him, and Granit taking all the abuse from his relatives he's having deported whilst at the family barbecue. Meanwhile, Gabriel Jesus is on the verge of a full return in the league, and there's a documentary coming out that follows followed him whilst he was injured. He was out for 3 months, lads. He didn't die. If he did this elsewhere, Paul Pogba would get an Oscar. A Naby Keita series would be 57 seasons long. Arsenal are, though, out of the Europa League after losing on penalties to Portuguese side Sporting. They took the lead in this one through Granit Xhaka, but conceded an equaliser to the first goal of the week as Pedro Gonçalves picked up the ball on the halfway line and spotted Aaron Ramsdale off his line.
It's a remarkable goal. Take a bow. Pedro Gonçalves.
An unbelievable goal in high European competition, and one that Kim Kardashian saw from the stands. Here we have Gonçalves looking up to find Kim K in the crowd, and when he gets the follow from her, he's in the big leagues now.
I just want to say, anyone that's got my number, just please delete it. I have no time for you anymore. Please don't message me because you won't get a reply. Life's changed now. Yeah.
She was in attendance here and has tasted prime. What kind of crossover is this? Get Kim K on Sidemen Tinder right now.
Hi, I'm Philly. I'm 25. I'll be on it. Clap.
Mad with the amount of procedures she's had. She's quite literally a plastic fan. Either way, this goal was special, and Arsenal fans couldn't hide their surprise. After that equaliser and a nervy 120 minutes follow, it goes to penalties, and with Aaron Ramsdale not even trying, Sporting end up going through 5-3. Going out in the round of 16, disappointing for Arsenal, but they can at least focus on the league now. And quickly just on Sporting, unbelievable performance and achievement from them. I think myself and quite a few others often rub out the Portuguese league, but they've shown why they're the utmost seriousness here. At Everton, an injured striker and fashionista, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, has apparently had some fashion tips for new boss Sean Dyche. Sean's new look on the touchline is gonna be very outgoing indeed. Imagine this man into star signs. But Dominic was gutted when Sean said no to 3-foot diameter flares.
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is even that?
To be honest, Mr. Dyche is way too busy getting vexed at officials. Back in the Champions League, but the European Clubs edition, Napoli deserve a special shout out for getting into the quarter-final for the first time in their history. 3 Italian teams in the last 8 for the first time since 06. Juventus are dicking about in the background. Meanwhile, Nigerian striker Victor Osimhen is sick. He has to wear this face mask forever now.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Dele Alli's Turkish nightmare is getting worse again, with his Besiktas boss saying he won't play for the club ever again, and they're not making his move permanent. Fuck knows where he's gonna end up after this. At least he'll be gassed when he slaps down a 7 sofa score rating in the Bangladeshi Super League. Who am I kidding? He won't make it anywhere else either, and will be left upset when he gets frozen out at Enyimba International.
Goodbye to the people who trusted me.
Meanwhile at West Ham, and there's beef between Digger D and Said Ben Rama. What the rock?
What is going on here?
The Algerian is apparently dating Digger D's ex, and the London-based rapper says he still links up with his ex while Said is at training. He'll be straight in the studio writing a diss track.
I'm born in a different country, but here never been on vacation. One hand on the girl I'm dating.
But ultimately, it will get out of hand. And when Ben Rama sees Harlem Spartans turn up outside West Ham's stadium, he'll be asking David Moyes for help.
Okay, I don't think we're that close.
At Brighton, and in their win against Crystal Palace, Solly March scored in the 15th minute on the 15th of March. Surely that's the first time that's ever happened. Kevin De Bruyne had his opinions on Jack Grealish winning Player of the Month.
Last season, you said he might win a Player of the Month someday, and now he's actually won it. So how good has it been recently?
I don't know how much he paid for it.
There was the wholesome reaction of Robbie Savage reacting to his son score his first senior goal on BT Sport.
Yes! What's happened, Robbie?
My boy scored!
Charlie Savage has just scored for his
Yes!
There we go!
Come on, my boy!
Oh,
come on!
Robbie, that's his...
And down in the Championship, Ousmane Dembele turned up to watch Sunderland versus Sheffield United. With his injury record and doctors on strike, now is not a good time to come over here, Ousmane. In Spain, and Gavi was ready to put his life on the line against Athletic Club.
You've got to fucking die to get 3 points!
Barcelona obviously have a sponsorship with Spotify, and Rosalia is the next artist to have a one-off promo on their shirt. I hope they get really niche eventually. Next up on Barca's shirt, Loyal Corner. But a big story revolving around Barca is, of course, the corruption charges. They have been dealt with by Spanish prosecutors. This, of course, over payments made to the former vice president of Spain's refereeing committee. I knew this shirt was going to get more and more relevant. And on top of that, Barcelona, of course, have to sell £160 million+ worth of players in order to buy anyone in the next transfer window. Barca's president will be trying his hardest to convince FFP regulators that they've sold enough dead wood.
I was pushing for sales. I was making people come.
How much did you think you sold?
I think I've sold about
At least £120 or more.
We sold £62 of the stuff.
I mean, they're not going to have any players left. Getting through La Masia into the senior team's going to be a piece of piss.
Huh. That was easy.
It's been a busy week in France, where a late Kylian Mbappe goal saved a handling from Brest. Playing against Brest, Icardi will be devastated knowing he doesn't play for PSG anymore. There's reports that despite this, players have lost respect for PSG boss Christophe Galtier and now call him a PE teacher. I mean, look, that's harsh. On PE teachers. I mean, they'd at least get PSG into the quarter-final. Speaking of their Champions League exit, and after Bayern Munich knocked them out, a sign at the home of their bitter rivals Marseille thanked the German side for doing their bit. Parisian forward Hugo Ekitike is clearly very happy with his looks.
La tête d'homme, je suis trop beau, alors ça sert à rien de dire ça. Là, je suis grave beau gosse. Vas-y, toi.
Kylian Mbappe clearly can't be ours. Elsewhere, French comedians dressed up and travelled to London to deliver Harry Kane his World Cup penalty ball. He was gassed to be reunited. Let's go! Somebody interviewed Olivier Giroud's brother this week, but I can't get away from the fact that he looks like Giroud, but he's into meditating. One Marseille fan has gone on a hunger strike this week and is camping outside his club's training ground as a protest for his club to sell Leonardo Balerdi, someone that he believes is not good enough to play for the club. He managed to trick Nuno Tavares into signing a petition to get rid. Imagine a Liverpool fan trying to do this for James Milner. It would last forever. In Italy, Kavica Kvaratskhelia is just taking the piss now, scoring a ridiculous solo goal and having defenders playing Twister for God's sake.
Let's not take the piss here.
This guy has sprained every muscle in his body. Jose Mourinho is still banned from the touchline at Roma and decided to bring back his old handcuff post on Insta to promote 3 companies at the same time. This guy's an influencer. Augsburg lost 5-3 to Bayern over in Germany, but in their own words, at least they managed to score 3 goals, unlike PSG. It's a shithousery award for the Bundesliga side. Meanwhile, after making a promise to Matthijs de Ligt, Jan Sommer came through on it, buying 700 kilograms of Swiss chocolate, but instead donating it to charity. At least donate an apple as well, just to like balance it out. Now that it's time for your goals of the week, we got some screamers again. First of all, in Guatemala, and take about Carlos Alvarado with this sensational volley at Cheltenham. And how about this from Alfie May, taking a touch and before the ball even hits the net, slapping it in from the halfway line. And finally, we've seen one strike from Sporting already, but how about this from Nuno Santos back in the Portuguese league? With the ball breaking to him just inside the area, he rabonas it into the back of the net. In Saudi Arabia, and it's time for your Cristiano Ronaldo checkup, he's having a great time over there.
Goodness gracious me!
I mean, that Salah penalty was bad enough. I just hope nothing else goes wrong today. He was getting Lionel Messi chanted at him. The guy cannot escape Leo. He'll be writing a diss track on Saudi fans soon enough.
£1 million fines, it's cool. Tell my accountant to...
And he was annoyed at a referee blowing for half-time, so kicked the ball away and got himself booked. Oh, God, I think I'm concussed. I mean, at least I can't get hit 3 times. There's the news that Burna Boy will be co-headlining at the Champions League final this year. We've got Gianni Infantino vibing along to last here. And shout out Bolivia for providing the wildest game of the week, where Atletico Palmaflor and Blooming played out a 3-2 game. It was a 20-minute VAR hold-up. Fights, it was almost abandoned for a waterlogged pitch, and the winner came in the 38th minute of injury time, after 2 red cards 10 minutes before. Hello all, and welcome to The Beautiful Game, the segment where we take a look at the poetic and brilliant side of the game that we love. We are back by popular demand for yet more glorious beauty. And that concludes The Beautiful Game. Now over in Portugal, Emmanuel Lopez can count himself very unlucky down in the lower leagues after getting a red card for allegedly throwing the ball at the referee here, as well as a 45-day suspension. It was a slight bounce, lads, come on. In South Korea, and in the 90th minute, we've got a back pass back to a goalkeeper, which leads to an indirect free kick, taken quickly and slotted into the back of the net. We saw Haitian side Violet face off against Austin last week. They provided a shocking own goal. The quality doesn't get much better in the second leg.
Really nasty.
A little bit soul destroyer, I'm not gonna lie.
In Scotland, and this is the craziest trim I've ever seen. It looks like someone stood behind him. Now, you might think it's impossible to miss from the goal line. If you're playing in the Welsh 2nd Division, it's time to think again. Over in Lithuania, and we've got an unconventional pitch design here from the ground staff, but closer to home and at Sunderland, Luke O'Neill has got a unique way to diffuse the situation. Gareth Ainsworth is the new Queen's Park Rangers manager, and he introduced himself by bringing in a guest and motivational speaker from a different culture. This guy's lost the dressing room. He only got there 10 minutes ago. Meanwhile, at Scunthorpe, don't do anything stupid, alright? Just play out from the back.
Is it worth going through this anguish every week?
Back in Portugal and at Estoril, we've got a shocking defensive mix-up here. Just a bit of communication, lads, please. I think the best technique for an own goal this week comes in Saudi Arabia, where if you're unsure, lads, please don't try and slice it away. It's not gonna end well. Now, when you come on at futsal, the last thing you want to do is get humiliated straight away. Yeah, nah, sub him off. Sub him, like, as in out of the team. He needs to go home. Get the buzz. Over in Qatar, and you'd think rounding the goalkeeper would be the difficult part. Once you've got an open net, all you've got to do is slot it home, unless you're this geezer. In Croatia, and how about this for an absolutely mental game that was sat at 2-2 with 10 minutes to go, before 3 goals in 4 minutes, then an equaliser to make it 4-4 in the 94th, and a winner a minute later from the opposition for it to end 5-4. Meanwhile, in South Africa, and when are defenders gonna learn to look before they make a back pass? Now though, it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, because over in Romania, anything goes in Romania. As long as you're tackling something, it's all blessed. Including your own coach. That's Richarlison v Conte take 2, mate. Over in Liberia, there's the discovery of some brilliantly named football clubs, including Small Town, Kwaki FC, maybe a bit too overconfident in their ability given their relegation threatened. In Sweden, and Mjölby weren't too happy with the dressing room size they were given, so in retaliation, they offered their guests the cupboard when their under-21s came to town. In Argentina and at Banfield, one substitute's trying to impress the boss so that he gets subbed on. Probably not gonna work, mate. In Israel, and we've got a dab celebration ending in tears. What will you all get for dabbing in the first place? Meanwhile, there's a crime scene here down on the centre circle. Now there is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is a segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And what is more Sunday League than shit housing? Piss boiling. Getting underneath your opponent's skin. And when you're a goalkeeper, there's an easy way to do it when the other team's number 9s just had a stinker of a strike. Yeah, you know what? I think he had that covered still. On to the weird stuff though now. Over in Poland, there's the ridiculous story of Motor Lublin manager Gonçalo Feo, who apparently was drunk in a press conference after a match, was interrogated by a female journalist and reacted negatively. Then when the club president stepped in to defend her, he decided to smack said president and cut his eyebrow. Now, nothing's been decided, I don't think, about his future, but I don't think he's staying out of court, let alone staying at the club. Over in Liechtenstein, and there's the incredible story of Bolzer, who in a Liechtenstein Cup have been drawn against their own reserves team. The reserves play 2 leagues below them, and if the reserves win, then, I mean, they're not you've got to swap places, no? And finally, over at Sion, they've suspended their head coach, Fabio Celestini, for a week because of poor form that the club's in. No, that's right, they've suspended him and not sacked him. So he's still hired, it's absolutely fine, but they've just taken him off duty for a week to try and turn things around. And the club has instead appointed Christian Constantine as a manager for a week, who also happens to be the club president. So the president has sacked the manager and just made himself boss for a week. It sounds like he's bored. That sounds like a Todd Bowley maneuver. That though is gonna wrap up football this week, and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video, and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. Thank you once again for 200 episodes of this series. It is, I mean, it's cliche, but it's nothing without you guys. So I do really appreciate the love. It's so sick to see. You can also follow me on social media though. It is at the official FNG on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting ranting at you guys today. Have a great day, enjoy yourselves, and let's have some nostalgia in it.